Dealer, distributor. I've been at this 15 years researching all kinds of wellness equipment. I'm the guy who consults with practitioners and everyday people, so you can contact me anytime for a free consult on this product category, infrared saunas, as well as many other product categories. My email is in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, so moving on to HIGHERDOSE. So this video is reviewing the company HIGHERDOSE. So HIGHERDOSE, done very well in the last many years with the infrared sauna method of doing it through a blanket, okay, versus an infrared sauna or an infrared, like a portable infrared sauna. I have a lot of reviews on videos on that type of thing. So that was their trend. They did it strategic. I mean, you could do a whole case study, right, on how they did it, how they gained traction from a marketing perspective. I'm going to go through photos so you can kind of see what it looks like here. You're kind of under this little thing. They were smart the way that they did it marketing wise. But this is going to be a very short video. Let's just cut right down to brass tacks and say one thing really quickly. While you can absolutely get infrared hyperthermia, that means you're increasing your temperature of your body. You can get infrared or heat benefits from something like this. Absolutely true. The general consensus is that most people don't like to be sweating like this lady, or you can really see her sweating here. Most people do not like to sweat in something like this, where you have this thick, I wouldn't even call it a blanket, just this thick material, touching your body while you're sweating. Have you ever been in really sweaty clothes before? Imagine, but imagine like being in the sun while you're in the sweaty clothes, okay? And feeling a little constricted. So here you are, like a little burrito, okay? No, most people don't like the feeling of this. Especially, now the people that don't mind it are usually the ones who try a sauna blanket. This is not the only company. They try one and they're like, okay, it worked. Obviously works. But they don't have any reference point a lot of times for not having something touching your body while you warm up. But when they have an opportunity to try something else, and I'm going to show you another alternative where they can get the infrared effect and not have to be like sweating up against something, they're like, oh, that was so much nicer, So most people prefer that. What people still buy blankets? People that have seen the trend, they're hopping on it. Outside of that, a lot of times people buy it is because of the financial piece, because it's lower down on a price point. There are other blankets out there that are a little more competitively priced as well. But bottom line is, it's on the lower end of the price point. And look, that's a great reason, right? If you're on a budget and you just want to get some therapeutic effects and spend a few $100, by all means, absolutely go for it. See if you can split up your payments. Good for you, right? Be consistent. But I'm just letting you know that generally, most people don't like the feeling of this, okay, as it's touching you and you're sweating. So what's another method that is more comfortable and actually delivers significantly more infrared rays to your body? That would be a sauna dome. Now this company, there's a few companies that I've done videos on and I actually do deal with that have sauna domes. Here we are. They also make blankets. So let's click on that, and the link will be below in the description, by the way. You can pop on their site. I have put my personal link on there too, full disclosure. So $1569 for this model, but let's hop over to the Vital Pro, okay? Now inside of this whole dome here that you lay in comfortably, you're basically going to have a huge amount of infrared, completely, like the whole thing is lined with high output carbon emitters. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit here. Okay, so you have a ton of different infrared emitters inside this thing. Okay, and it's not touching your body. Okay. Now inside of the blankets, let's see if I can actually show you how minimal the infrared emitters. Okay, that's like where the infrared is coming from, the heaters. Let's see if they show me an inside video of this. I could actually just also look on the HIGHERDOSE. Let's actually just see if they show the inside of this. If not, I'm going to describe it to you. Okay. All right. So it's hard to tell here, but you basically have a layer of these materials, okay, that when you heat them up emit infrared. That is also very good in terms of, delivering infrared rays, okay? It's just that, let me clarify this. This is good for delivering infrared rays to the body when you have something where the emitters are like right on top of you uncomfortably, okay? That's great. Well designed, right? However, the emitters that are used inside of the dome here, or other companies' domes, okay, not just this one, they use a carbon emitter that is designed for infrared saunas, where your body is going to be potentially farther away from the emitters, and those emitters have to heat up the whole sauna. Okay, so they also have to do that as well. So what does that mean? That means that the emissivity rating is very high, and they're very high output. They put out a lot of infrared by comparison to the infrared emitting materials that are inside of a blanket. Okay? So it's just a higher output. That's all. If you wanted to do more of an apples to apples comparison. Okay? The wavelength distribution curve, if you look at that measurement, like what infrared range, they're going to be probably almost identical, okay, between the two. But the output absolutely is going to be a lot higher, because again, the emitters they use in here, those are commonly more manufactured from the factories for saunas. They're basically getting them from the same place, okay? But in this case, those higher output emitters are inside of a dome, which is pretty close around you, right? It's still, your body is very close to these emitters. So now in a sauna, potentially you'd be a lot farther away. So that is one reason, by the way, why domes are like one of the best ways to get as much infrared into your body efficiently as possible and raise your core body temperature very quickly as well. That's not to say that higher dose isn't intense, because it is intense. Granted, that intensity doesn't necessarily help make it more comfortable, okay? In the case of the application of through a blanket. So that's a super competitively priced, very, very reasonable. All the materials are also the cleanest you can have for portables. In fact, they're so durable that you can actually even pump ozone in here, but you're really gonna have to inquire with me about that. But technically the materials can handle a corrosive gas like ozone, which is an oxygen with 3 molecules, okay? They can be pumped in here. So they're really, really, really good material grade. EMF is also just as low as higher dose, super, super low. So, if you can work into your budget, or break down the payments here over a plan like this, or use your health savings account, right? Look at that. That's actually tax deductible. You can use your FSA and HSA, okay, for something like this. A lot of people don't know that. But, I would say if you can just spend a few $100s more, you're going to be a lot more comfortable in something like this, and you're going to get a lot more infrared into your body as well. And if you're thinking about using this for clients, that's why you're looking into higher dose? Again, now a lot of people don't like feeling and sweating on something that's like right on top of them. It kind of seems obvious, right? So now you kind of know that maybe potentially you should lean more in the domes. And if you want to know about other domes, I deal with in other companies. I'd be happy to educate you on those too. Or other types of portables. There's a couple other exceptions that are clean, that are not domes, that I deal with. If you were curious about these mats, by the way, there's 2 manufacturers, that produce all of the infrared mats for like all companies that white label. That means they put their own label on top of it, just so you know, okay? Is there anything, and I'm just going to kind of throw this into this review, but is there anything unique about this infrared mat compared to the mats? Long story short, no, not really. In fact, there's really many good mats or similar mats for the reason I just gave, because they pretty much come from 2 factories in China. That's where the majority of them are made. Okay, there's an exception with Richway Biomat. I'll put a link to you below if you're curious about that. One's in Korea. But they're almost all identical when you really get into it. There are a couple brands that are made slightly higher construction. So if you're going to have it in a commercial setting where you have high volume of usage, absolutely reach out and I'll just let you know what those couple brands are that are just a little bit more durable. If again, it's a commercial application. If it's not, then you don't really have to worry. And the most common thing to break on these things, if you really want your mat to be working forever, is just this part right here. See that where my mouse is? Where the plug's right into the side. You know, if you're just extra conscientious of taking care of the wire and the cord into that, that is like the main most common technical failure with infrared mats, the control panel. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, reach out to me.